Top cop is a liberal, say it ain't so. I'm Brian Lilley with TheRebel.media. You know, Bill Blair is now Toronto's former top cop. He stepped down from the job as police chief last Friday, and he's since come out as a liberal. I could sit here and pretend to be all shocked, but, well, that would just make me sound like Captain Renault from the movie Casablanca.
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
You're winning, sir.
Oh, thank you very much.
The truth of the matter is, anyone that's been paying attention to Bill Blair over the last several years already knew that this man was a liberal. Just look at his position on the issues. On Justin Trudeau's #1 issue, legalizing marijuana, well, Bill Blair was already for that while he was the chief of police in Canada's largest city. While he was still charged with enforcing the laws that are on the books, he was advocating for changing the laws. He did so when the Canadian Association of Mental Health came out with a study on cannabis and legalization in this country. Then there's the issue of gun control. Now, Bill Blair's long been a gun control advocate. He was a champion of the gun registry. Back in 2009, when Parliament started looking at doing away with the registry, he wrote an op-ed in the Globe and Mail which said, "The registry has made Canada a safer country. The registry has saved lives. We lose it at our peril." Well, in 2013, the first full year without the gun registry, it had been done away with in April of 2012. In 2013, the number of shootings in Toronto actually went down. These are stats from Bill Blair's own department. In 2012, there were 85 shootings in Toronto. That dropped to 67 in 2013, then dropped again to 47 in 2014. Now, they appear to be going up in 2015, but I don't think you can say that's because the registry went away any more than you can say that the shootings went down because the registry went away. It simply had no effect. It was a boondoggle that cost a lot of money targeting the wrong people because, as Statistics Canada shows, well, one, the crime rate, the crime severity index is going down. It dropped 9% just a little while ago. But also, about half of the shootings, the homicides in Canada that use firearms, they're illegal guns used by gangs. That's right, gangs. Who, do I need to remind you? They don't register their guns. So Bill Blair is now on Team Trudeau. What does that mean? Well, it means that he's probably going to be advocating for lighter sentences for gangbangers with guns, but advocating for tougher sentences for law-abiding gun owners that lose their paperwork, that have a problem, that forget to fill out the right form. Because that's the liberal way on crime, and if Bill Blair gets the nomination and then gets elected, he's going to do what his leader tells him. But before progressives start cheering about how they've got a guy on their team now with real police street cred, let me ask, is Bill Blair the guy you want doing that, the guy you want representing you on your values? Remember, this is the man who in 2010, during the G20 in Toronto, lobbied then Ontario Liberal Premier Dalton McGuinty to get a special law passed. The Toronto Star even reported on this. The Toronto Red Star reported on Blair lobbying McGuinty to get the law passed that allowed them to do secret arrests during the G20. Failed to show your ID at the gate, at the fence, you would get arrested. Then there's all the civil liberties violations that took place during the G20. I remember the first day of the summit. The streets were running wild with protesters and looters. Things were on fire. These were things I saw with my own eyes that I'll never forget, and the police mostly stood by. And then the next day, they went overboard and forget about civil liberties, forget about basic fundamental freedoms. Those went out the door. All of that happened on Bill Blair's watch. Now, there's currently a former Toronto police chief sitting in Parliament. His name's Julian Fantino. I think he's been a bit of a disaster for the Conservatives, and you'd think that the Liberals watching may have learned a lesson and said, maybe we don't want the former top guy with a gun and a badge sitting in our ranks. But they've decided they want to go for this. Well, take a look at Bill Blair's record, his record of being a politician when he was supposed to be a bureaucratic police chief civil servant. Instead, he was campaigning to change the laws. Take a look at his record on gun control, where he's just consistently wrong. And then take a look at his record on the issue of civil liberties, where they didn't count when Canadians needed them most. This man doesn't deserve the support of the public in the nomination battle, and he certainly doesn't deserve it when it comes to the general election.